This is basically an adventure that we actually go on together, and I write about it. And sometimes it's what to do, sometimes it's what not to do. So just go check it out. So they wanted me to talk tonight about creative deal structuring. And when you're thinking about creative deal structuring, I want you to think about each house, each transaction is a big puzzle. There's all kinds of different pieces that go together on a creative deal. You're going to want to look at the different benefits that go for you. You want to look at the different benefits for the buyer. And you even want to look at the benefits for the seller. So depending on what part you are in the transaction, you have to take those different things, get them together, and almost make it kind of like a pie. If you can give the buyer what they need, give the seller what they need, if there's enough of the pie left over for you to eat, you do the deal. But the whole time is thinking, what do I have? And how can I give them what they need so that I get what I want? Sometimes it's a house, sometimes it's cash, sometimes it's cash flow. So there is a difference between getting a chunk of cash versus getting cash flow. There's another difference. As an investor, every type of creative deal structure that you have is a tool in your toolbox. Right? And you don't want to just have one. There are people that all they know how to do is do a lease option. There are some people that all they know how to do is wholesale. That was something I forgot to put up there. There's some that all they know how to do is master lease. You don't want that because each individual house, each individual seller situation is totally different. You want to be able to look at each one of them and take, okay, well, I can't put a hammer on this because it'll beat it to death. Maybe I'll put a screwdriver on that. So some different types of deal structures that you want to put in your toolbox are options. Now, an option is a contract where you have the right to buy something sometime in the future for a specified price over a specified time period. Now you have the right, but you don't necessarily have the obligation. Those things can be very powerful. The next thing I want you to think about are leases with an option. And before I say anything about them, I want you to remove the word lease purchase from your mind. Lease purchases are not something that gets done anymore. A lease option is where you rent a house and then your occupant has the ability, but not necessarily, they have the right, but they don't have the obligation to buy the house in the future. A lease purchase, on the other hand, is a contract that says this person has to perform, otherwise you can sue them. An option can be voided out, and there's no qualms in that. But that is a very powerful tool to be able to increase your cash flow and get something called an option consideration, which is a nice chunk of change. Installment sales. Installment sales are different forms of financing, whether it is a B for contract for B to me, contract for note, there is flat out, there's just notes. There's all kinds of different ways to control properties by being able to use an installment sale. You can use them when you're buying, and you can also use them when you're selling. You need to know how to do both. By the way, I'm going to be talking really fast because I'm only getting 20 minutes tonight, and we're going to play a little game together. All right. Another thing which T has been doing is Lonnie deals. Lonnie deals is where you buy a mobile home, an owner in the lot, you pay cash for it, you turn around and you sell it with owner financing. So, the case scenario that often happens for us is we'll buy one for $2,000, put it back on market, do absolutely nothing to it, sell it, get somewhere around $1,000 down, $300 a month for 42 months. And so it doesn't take long for you to get all your money out of that. And it's one of the best strategies that I think for beginner investors. The last two, subject to deals. A subject to deal is where you buy a house from somebody that's got a mortgage on a property, you leave the mortgage in place, and you pay the mortgage payment on behalf of the owner all the way up until you either sell the house or you pay off the mortgage. And then master leases is the last one that I have up there. That is when you rent a house from a property owner. You have a rent to them that's below market rates, then you rent it out to an occupant at market rates and you make a spread there. So sometimes you make $100, sometimes you make $300. But the benefit of it is that you have no skin in the game. You don't have any repairs, you don't have anything like that that goes along with having property ownership. It also means you don't have tax write-offs, but still, if you're more of a new person, then that can be a benefit. So as you're thinking about creative deals, you want all these different tools in your toolbox. So I want to play a little game with you. So what's the deal? I learned this from a guy named Bill Cook. He would take a property that he'd done, put it up there, give you some stats on it, but I want y'all to solve the deal for me. Now, we've already done this deal. I'll tell you how I did it. After, y'all tell me how y'all would do it. And sometimes y'all do better, sometimes I'll do better. So we'll see who wins the game, okay? All right, this property is Harrington Bend. So The seller situation on this house, I got contacted by a realtor. It was in the MLS, and the guy owned this house, and he was retiring in a month. His dad had passed away, and he was moving back up to Maine where there was a maple syrup farm. And he was literally going back to the farm. The house was in pretty poor condition. He'd lived there for 20 years, had never done any updating. This house was built in the 70s, and nobody had done any updating whenever he bought it. Guy smoked like a freight train. He also did something that he thought was a good idea. He started taking down walls thinking he could, make the house look better so that he could sell it. So as it sat, it was only a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. But everybody knows a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house is a lot better. The other thing that he did was he went through the house and pulled up all the carpet in the house. And the reason why I did that was because it was slap nasty. When I say the guy smoked like a freight train, y'all can't see it.
Oh, nasty. Yes, we can.
It's not, no, yellow. No, this is brown. Y'all, it was sitting there trickling down the walls. Y'all can't see this as much as, this doesn't do it justice. If y'all could actually see the picture in real life, it was amazing. So, can you say Nicky thing? But the other thing, he knew he could not sell it for what he owed on it. He owed $59,000 on the house. The main reason he couldn't was because he couldn't get any financing. FHA requires you to have floor coverage to the house or else they will not fund the house. And he didn't want to move all the way up to Maine and have a house in Georgia and be a landlord. Alright, so as the house sits, it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. After repair value on this house is only $100,000. The house needs about $30,000 to get it up into flip condition. And the mortgage balance, like I said, was $59,000, and the payments on the house were $450. So, how would y'all structure this deal? All right, we got subject to. Well, why would you do that?
Because the mortgage is pretty high, and if you was to flip it, it would really wouldn't make no sense, So.
That's okay. I like that idea. He's saying take it over subject to, but if you're going to flip it, there's not any cash flow there, so he's thinking we can rent it out. So that was something I didn't tell you. On market rents over there about $750. That doesn't give you a whole lot of cash flow whenever you take out your expense factor. But still, subject to is a good idea. What else we got? Master lease it. He doesn't want to be an out-of-town landlord. All right, so one of the things, all right, so she said master lease. So what she was saying is I could come in and say, I will rent the house for you. You go to Maine, and I'll take care of stuff. But he didn't want to be an out-of-town landlord. He was worried to death that he was going to leave. Because he told me, he said, Joey, I retire in a month. I'm going to Maine. I said, what happens if you don't sell the house? He said, Joey, I'm retiring in a month. I'm going to Maine. So this house was going back, or I was going to do something with it.
Had somebody back to it.
Had somebody back.
How is his financial situation? Is he struggling somewhat?
He is about to go from having an active paycheck to a retirement. So he's going to go Social Security, drop it down to next to nothing in comparison to what he's been having. But he's going to a paid-for property that does produce income. So the farm up there really makes maple syrup. It really does have income potential. But he's not set by any shape.
I would ask them, how much money do you need the exact number? Realizing that you're not going to, nobody's going to come with the house in this condition with $50,000. I would ask, how much money do you need the exact number? And I would already have a figure in my mind. But I would probably just say, hey, this
Wells Fargo has the first position mortgage on this house of
I know it,
$59,000.
but I would just say that I would agree to take over the mortgage and probably give him a little sugar in the deal and say.
He like maple syrup.
Y'all give him a little sugar in the deal and say, sugar might be, $3,000-4,000 and take over the payment of the house and take over the ownership.
What would you do afterwards? So what he's saying is he would either do a loan assumption or he would do a subject to deal. Then what would you do afterwards? I like this idea.
Yeah, and afterward, then I would come in, update the house, and sell it.
Okay, so, let me go back just one
There's only
second.
10 grand spread.
There's not a 10 grand spread.
Oh, there isn't?
No, look.
Yeah, I mean.
House is worth $100,000 right now. If you can figure a 10% reduction in just realtor costs and then closing costs and whatever your contribution is to your buyer. So that takes you down to 90. 90 minus 30, 60. 59, you got $1,000. But I forgot to put on there that we paid the, I hadn't told you that yet, but, we threw the listing agent a bone and gave him $1,000. So really our true cost is $60,000.
Is there
Can you make that
space
project?
to add another bedroom or a bathroom?
Is there space? Sure there is.
Where
As a
that-
3-2, it's worth $100,000.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh, what you got?
You gotta short it with the bank.
Now that's an idea. Do a short sale with the bank.
So is he behind in payments?
He's not
No.
behind in payments. He's been
I
paying
ain't
like he's
doing
doing
it.
his business.
Did you explain that he's gonna drop down to his retirement income? He's gonna stop making the payments.
Hey, he's gone. I wish I'd thought of that. That would've been a good idea.
Like, sell the note?
Sell the note. I don't know if Wells Fargo would do it. It's real, I've never heard of anybody having tremendous success with buying notes from a big institution like
Bigger
that.
banks are hard to work with.
Yeah. That's a good idea. What he was saying was, see if you could go to the bank, and you can do this with small banks, buy the note from the bank so that you can buy it at a discount. Because they'd rather have cash, because then they can go and make more loans off of it. And if you could do that, you can pay less for the house. So it's not a short sale that hurts the seller. The bank's just willing to take a discount because they've already got money. So he never goes through foreclosure or anything like that.
Joey, I'll give you my advice how I would structure it.
Yeah.
Take it zero down, don't give them any sugar. Sell it on a lease option, keep the sugar, and make a spread on the cash flow.
I like that. That's a good idea. All right, you want to hear how I did it? You done read my notes, hadn't you?
No,
There's a little bit of a different, all right, so really and truly, on this house, we did something totally different. And I'll tell you about it here in just a second. All right, so we bought the house subject to the seller's existing mortgage. Now remember, there is an agent involved with this. There's also a civilian involved with this. Whenever I first went to the listing agent, told him, hey, I was like, you know what a subject to deal is? And he said, yeah, I know what a subject to deal is. I was like, okay. Let's say I will take over the mortgage, we'll do a subject to deal, and then he can leave, and I've got some people that I'll sell it to. And he's like, I don't think he's gonna go for that. He don't want to be an out-of-town landlord. I was like, no, we're not gonna do a master lease, we're gonna do a subject to deal. I know, I just don't think he's gonna want to be an out-of-town landlord. That's just gonna kill the deal. And so what I wound up doing is me and the owner I went over to have a meeting with him where I took the benefit list. And the benefit list at the very top of it said benefits to the seller. And it said, you will be able to leave Georgia and not be a landlord. And he read that and he said, hold on, wait a minute. Explain this to me. I said, I'm going to buy the house from you. I'm going to take over the payments on the mortgage. It's going to be done. You're done. You go, you enjoy syrup, you go. And he said, I don't got anything else, let's do it. So we bought the house subject to. We threw I messed up on here, we threw the listing agent $1,000 commission for bringing us the deal. We did a minor rehab on it. We only put about $6,000 in. Remember I told you it was going to be $30,000? That's because the outside needed a bunch of stuff too. But we put floors in the house, we painted the house, we put some new appliances in the house, and then we installed somebody that was willing to buy it. These people gave us $2,000 in option consideration. And we have an option strike price, so we're going to sell it to them for $75,000. Okay? So let's do the math on that. $75,000 minus 60 plus 2 comes out $9,000. So we're going to make a $9,000 spread. Now there was another area that we could have done that we didn't, that Randy was talking about. We didn't do market rents. Why would we do that? This right here is Elijah. This is baby James. This is Sharon. And I don't know if you can see right here, but that's baby Titus. Once upon a time, me and Ashley were in a very similar situation. We were pregnant with our first child. I say we. Ashley had something growing inside of her that I had a hand in, but I stepped out and she did all the hard work. But we lived somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 minutes to an hour and a half away from where we were investing. And we were new, we were trying with everything that we had, but I was literally driving about an hour and a half one way to get to where the projects were that we were working on. And some really wonderful people named Bill and Kim Cook found us a subject to in Adairsville. And they got nothing out of it. What they did was, actually that's not true, they got some family out of it.
Yeah.
They went and found the deal for us, structured it. We didn't know how to do it, but structured the deal for us, turned it over to us. Me and a friend of mine rehabbed the house, and we got the house rehabbed right before my firstborn son was born. They moved in, and Titus was born 3 weeks later. And the whole point of the story was is that every time I talked to Bill and Kim about it, they always said, pay it forward, pay it forward. Here was an opportunity for me to help out some people that I really cared about and make a difference in their lives. They got to bring baby Titus home to a home instead of a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment that they were living in. So whenever you are doing creative deal structuring, always begin with the end in mind. Start and look and see, how am I going to get out of this? What is my goal? In this, my goal was not necessarily to make money. Truthfully, I had intended to just structure the deal and give it to them and make nothing out of it. I was not going to be involved at all. What happened was, even though Elijah is quite handy, they couldn't get the rehab done in time to be able to get them in before Titus was going to be born. And so we stepped in and did it, and we got a little slip on the table for doing that. But always, 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 begin with the end in mind. When you can find out where you're going to go, then you can know how to piece this thing together. Questions?
I think that's very smart to begin with the end in mind.
Mm-hmm.
How are you getting out of the deal? And I've never heard it phrased that way, but that's cool.
I didn't come up with that. That's I had Stephen Covey. Is it Covey? Oh, he did. All right, anything else? Any questions? Yes, sir.
Obviously, your agent didn't know what substitute was.
He was not my agent. He was the listing agent, and so he didn't know. And I have done. It's kind of hard to accomplish a subject to deal where the property is listed in MLS. It's not undoable. We did 3 last year. But one of the deals I did was the top performer in my county. And she said, I've never done anything like this before. You might have to walk me through this. So you need to be able to figure out how to phrase things such that it's not intimidating and show them the benefit list. If you can give them a benefit list and they can see why this is a good idea, and also if there's an agent involved, make sure they realize, hey, they are going to get paid, it will go a long way because you want to protect that agent for 2 reasons. One, they've done some work. Right? They got the relationship, they brought you the deal. The other thing is that it will further the relationship. They'll bring you more deals. So it is both beneficial and selfish at the same time.
Did you have trouble finding a title company to do substitute?
No, sir. All right, so in Georgia, we don't do things with title companies. We do things with attorneys. And my attorney is Lee Perkins out of Cartersville. He does all my substitutes.
I think you fixed the ground walls.
Kills, oil-based kills. And just so you know, right, so one of the reasons how we got this so low was Joey went on site, did a whole lot of work with my guys. But if you're ever going to spray oil-based kills, make sure your respirator's not stopped up. Because if your respirator's stopped up, all of a sudden you're like, and then you have the worst headache you've ever had in your entire life. Ask me how I know.
And on top of that, your painters usually charge you double for having the oil base spray on there too. So you got to factor that into your rehab cost if you're not in sweat equity.
This right here.
Or you get Joey to do it. You know,
Oh, yeah.
This deal was solely constructed off of personal benefits. This was not necessarily structured for monetary gain. Sincerely, whenever I started this, I was going to do it for nothing because I cared for these people. It turned into a little bit of a monetary gain, but still, the enjoyment that these people are getting out of this house, the fact that I got to help and make a big deal in Titus's life, you can't put a price on that. Pay it forward. By the way, if I don't know, this is Kim Cook. She's one of the ones that, her and her husband are the one that did that for me, and Ashley.
They did more than structure it. They held our hands,
They
wiped our butts. They wrapped it up in a nice, neat little package, yelled at us when we made mistakes and everything.
Joey, how did you find that couple? What was your relationship with them?
They were my congregation.
Okay.
All right, so these were some kids. Elijah had just graduated school, and he was now in the tech field. And he'd been working for this tech company in Calhoun, and he hadn't been there for an entire year yet. And so he was having a hard time being able to find financing because he hadn't been there yet. And so they've been out actively searching for properties because they wanted to get something before Baby Titus got here. And so this just worked out. And like literally, whenever I went to the house, I was like, man, I ain't liking this. I ain't know what people do is what it will. It'll give you the ticks because you're sitting there, but it just something just kept running in the back of my head. And then whenever I went to worship on Sabbath, I saw Elijah and Shannon, and I said, I got the answer.
That's awesome.
Anything else?
So you still made the 9,000 on this, right?
We have not made it yet. Currently, they're in.
Oh, that's right, okay.
They're living there right now. They were in underwriting. They come back out of underwriting, and so we're still in the mortgage process. But it will hopefully be close for the end of the year.
So normally that's a deal that you would say is too thin that you would normally do if it wasn't like a situation like that. That's not what I got from what you're saying.
I may or may not do it. Depends on how if I need to keep my guys working or not. The other side of it is that I could have, if we were up at market rents, it would be a lot more intriguing to me. You know, so it's cool to get, you know, legitimately, all right, I put $6,000 into it on rehab, $2,000, really only did a house for $4,000. All right, so it wouldn't take long to get that money back out if I actually have a cash flow. And then the other side of it is, and this is not something that you can do, but Elijah is working on the outside, getting it fixed up, because now his whole mentality is, I'm gonna own this house. This is my house. And so the stuff that we weren't gonna do on the outside, that we would have needed to do to be able to get the house up to flip ready, he's out there doing, because this is now his house. And so it is a way better product than what we could have done it for. Have I been more than 20 minutes? Yes, sir. Okay, next.
All right, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit